What if organizing your finances isn't as overwhelming as it feels right now? If I could ask you one question that cuts through the noise, would you be willing to follow where it leads?
Let me guess. You know that you should be planning more for your financial future, but when it comes to organizing your money, something happens. You start thinking about all the things that you should address, like making sure that your family is taken care of, or protecting yourself as you get older, and just not running out of money. And suddenly, you feel overwhelmed. So today, I'm going to give you a question that leads to the answer. A question that moves you from anxiety to action. And it works every single time. And here's what happens to most of us. We know that we should get our finances in order, but that phrase, getting our finances in order, is just so big, so intimidating, that our brain, well, it just shuts down. And it's not because we're not smart enough, and it's not because we can't handle complexity. It's just that we're trying to solve every single thing at once. And here's what I've discovered. The path forward isn't about solving everything. It's about solving for the next action. And that starts with asking the right question. But before I give you the question, if we haven't met, my name is Marcus Griffin, and I'm a wealth advisor and the founder of Narrowgate Wealth Management. And I'm on a mission to help educate and empower women and their families to make financial decisions with clarity, care, and confidence. Okay, here's the question that changes everything. Instead of asking, how do I get my finances organized? Try asking, what's the next smallest step I can take? Not the biggest step, not the perfect step, just the next smallest step. What is the next smallest step I can take? This question is magic because it does something that your brain loves. It gives you something concrete and manageable that you can focus on. And here's how it works in real life. Let's say your worry is about aging and not being a burden on your family. Huge concern, lots of moving parts. But what's the next smallest step you can take? Maybe it's thinking about what being a burden actually means to you. Maybe it's about having a conversation with your family and their expectations. Or simply having coffee with one friend and asking how they're thinking about aging. You see how that works? You're not solving aging. You're just getting clear on your specific concerns. And getting clarity comes before good decisions. And here's another big one. Maybe you fear running out of money. And that fear can paralyze you because it feels so inevitable. But the smallest step approach gives you options. You could start with just writing down, I'm scared of running out of money. Naming the fear takes away its power. Or write down what enough looks like. Or just confide in someone that you trust about your concern for money and ask how they handle it. Notice these aren't about solving your entire financial future. They're just about getting specific to what concerns you. Because once you know what you're worried about, you can start addressing it. Or another one. Maybe your biggest worry is what happens to your family once you're gone. Now, that's a huge, overwhelming concern, right? But if you start by just asking, what's the next smallest step I can take? Suddenly you have options. You could start by taking out a piece of paper and titling it, What I Want My Family to Know. Then, anytime you think of something like a family value, something that you would like to teach them, words of wisdom, for instance, or just how you feel about them, you can write it down. Or you could have a conversation with your kids about what actually matters to them. Or a third option, you open a folder and label it For My Family and begin by dropping just one important document into it. Do you notice what happened there? You went from feeling stressed out to having three specific things that you could do today. Not perfect things, not final things, just next small things. And then there's this worry. I just don't know where to start because I don't know what I should be thinking about. So if that's you, congratulations, you're human, and you're experiencing a very common concern. And guess what? No surprise, the same question works here. What's the next smallest step I can take? Just asking, what's something I can do to learn more about money moves you forward. And spoiler alert, this video you're watching is doing exactly that. Or maybe it's just thinking about a money topic that makes you nervous. or just writing down that one financial question that you've been meaning to ask. The beautiful thing is, you don't have to know everything to take the next step. You just have to be willing to take it. And here's what's happening when you ask that question. You give your brain a problem that it can actually solve. So instead of figure out your entire financial future, you're asking your brain to give you one small manageable task. And here's the secret. Don't tell your anxiety. Small steps create momentum. When you take one small step, it makes the next small step feel possible, and then the next small step. You're not trying to climb the whole mountain today. You're just taking the next step up the path. And that's exactly how mountains get climbed. So here's how to make this work for you. Whenever you get stressed out or overwhelmed about money, stop and then ask yourself, what's the next small step I can take? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. And then take it. It might be just having a conversation or writing something down. It might be thinking through one specific question. It doesn't matter what the step is, but what does matter is that you take it. Because here's what I know to be true. The woman who is confident about her financial future isn't necessarily the one who has it all figured out. It's the woman who feels empowered. And taking action is the key to empowerment. And taking action only requires the next small step. Now, there will be times when you ask yourself, what's the next small step? And you genuinely don't know. But that's okay. That's useful information because it tells you that you may benefit by talking with someone who can help you work through your options. So if you find yourself in that situation, look for someone who first listens to understand your values. What actually is important to you? And then second, is patiently willing to take the time to understand your priorities. What do you want to accomplish first? Then they clearly educate you on your options without talking down to you or belittling you. And then last, focuses on helping you understand your choices, not just telling you what to do. The right person doesn't just give you answers. They help you figure out what the next step is, the next step that is right for you. Because that's what good financial planning is, a series of thoughtful, intentional steps. If you're looking for guidance and education in finding your next small step, in the description below, please see the link to schedule a free 30-minute discussion that we call Just a Conversation. If you had to pick just one financial worry that keeps you up at night, what would it be? And what's the next smallest step that you could take towards addressing it? Write it down, because when you write it down, you're on your way towards taking that first step. And if you really feel like taking massive action, write it in the comments, because making it public is going to give you a sense of accountability. And if this approach resonated with you, please share this video with someone you know who may be overwhelmed. Because the great thing about the next small step question is, it works for most anything that is stressing us out, not just financial organization. And sometimes the most powerful gift we can give someone is permission to just start small. Before we go, I want you to remember something. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to ask, what's my next smallest step, and then be willing to take it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.